Hello and welcome back to the Squash Bagel. I think the first thing I want to say is that Reddit strikes again, and it would seem that the rumors that surfaced around the new Tecnifibre Suprem lookalike with the X-Top feature is true. Nothing from Tecnifibre's side yet confirming what they call the Tecnifibre Slash, which is going to be their traditional shape, endorsed by Mustafa Asal. But there are places such as Squash Galaxy, which I will take a few minutes to go over now in this video, which have released images and even a video regarding the advertising from Tecnifibre for the Tecnifibre Slash. It's quite exciting to see that there is a 120 gram version and something which my wife would like to call a new egg shape racket. Squash Galaxy has released, at least on their website, the fact that you can pre-order the Tecnifibre Slash, and they've obviously shown some pictures of what the Tecnifibre Slash is going to look like, also giving out a couple of specs. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video today. Once again, I do not want to steal anyone's hard work or sort of say that this is any discovery of my own. I was quite lucky to be sent a link to the website from one of the YouTube subscribers, Ken, or Level 27 Rocks as he's known on social media as well as on YouTube. But he sent me sort of a email saying, hey, you know what, this is actually out there. He's also quite excited. I'm quite excited to look at what it is that Tecnifibre have to offer. It would seem that, well, according to Squash Galaxy, these will be coming around the end of September. So still about a month and a bit to wait before we actually get our hands or can get our hands on this type of racket. And Squash Galaxy has been nice enough to obviously put out a couple of specs, a bit of a description about the racket, what each of the rackets, I guess, aims to deliver. And at least let's discuss that now in this video. Cool. So just moving on to Squash Galaxy, as you can see, they do have the new 2023-2024 Slash racket series. There's a 120 gram version, 125 gram version, 130 and 135. You can pre-order and the shipping starts from the 28th of the 8th. So that is actually end of this month as well. So I got that wrong. I thought it was the end of September, so it's a bit closer than what I expected, which is good news. You can see here four different shapes. I guess that's 120, 125, 130, and 135. Only thing that I can see which seems to differ between the 135 and the other versions, it looks like it comes with a Dynamax string, Dynamax VP. We'll probably see that if that's true when we go to the advertised image. But as you can see, in terms of head sizes, the rumor was correct. The fact that it is a much smaller head size. I believe one of the users on Reddit said that when they saw the prototype or the demo, it was a much smaller head size than before. I did mention that I have one of the old legacy Suprems, which comes in, I think, 466 square centimeters. So hopefully it will be around that size. But the other ones, as you can see, my wife says it seems like a little bit of an egg shape, which is quite interesting. I think I did a review on the Head Radical 135X, which was sort of starting to play around with this head size of, I believe, 490, which is very similar to what we have on some of the hybrid type rackets. So your Dunlop, I think it's the Evolution series, the 120 and the 130 have a 490 square centimeter head size and obviously are quite different compared to your teardrop shape as well as your traditional, giving you a little bit more of this in between, which is a long main string but not exactly the same as a teardrop shape. So these seem to look a little bit more like a teardrop shape, but at the same time not as small as the traditional shape. As mentioned, this is the only site that I know of at the moment which is advertising the Slash racket series. There is a Tecnifibre logo on there. It has been seen in Mustafa's hand. I believe the day after we released that video on the Slash, Mustafa had been seen with the Slash in a video by, I think it's his coach. Coach obviously put up a video of him training in Egypt with Sebastian Bonmale as well. So if you actually look at some of his videos online, you can actually see Mustafa playing with the racket. He obviously has something which is, I guess, the 120 gram version. As you can see in his hand here, definitely looks smaller than the advertised egg-shaped rackets that my wife likes to call them. This will be his racket going forward. It is endorsed by Mustafa. I guess let's go see what they have to offer. As the site says, you can pre-order the 120 gram version, 125, 130 and 135 version. You can see the difference in strings. So starting with the 120, definitely going to start there because that's the sort of version that I would love to see. This is basically a carbon copy of the image that was surfaced surfacing or that surface on Trade-In or Smash-In, that website I spoke about last time. This is the exact carbon copy of that image that was around or floating around on the internet. A beautiful racket, looks very similar to their tennis rackets, if I could say anything. As you can see here, Slash 120, got a bit of the green as well as the white. I think that's quite nice, green, white and black. I think that's quite a nice cosmetic on it compared to the Suprem Curve. 120 grams. As you can see here, what they say, yoke control technology. I'm not too sure what that is and what it's supposed to do, but I'm sure there'll be some sort of blurb on the official website when it gets released. As you can see, Mustafa Sal's signature there with his name. So similar to the 125 X-Top, you had Mohammed El-Shabagi's signature on there, and the 130 had Marwan El-Shabagi, with the NX version having Noor El-Shabini's signature on them. So this is the Mustafa Sal endorsed racket. Once again, that X-Top technology. I'm quite happy about this. The fact that there's no yellow writing, that seemed, or in my opinion at least, I didn't like the sort of yellow cosmetic that came with the X-Tops, but this seems a little bit more neutral with the white racket, obviously a little bit gray. And yeah, that is a very good looking racket. Coming down to specs, got a weight of 120 grams, comes in with a 305 green Tecnifibre string. Not too sure if it's the 1.1 or the 1.2 millimeter, but I'm guessing it's going to come in at the 1.2 millimeter. There we go. Head size of 461 square centimeters. So that's going to be a bit smaller than the old Legacy Suprem. The Suprem Curve, the one that Asal was using last season, came in at 470 square centimeters. So we've got a little honed in surface area, nice and small, hopefully offering a little bit more control. And as you can see, the word that pops out here is control. So definitely they're gearing towards control. Comes in with a factory grip. Most players that I know definitely take out the Tecnifibre grip. Not a great grip, but yeah, balance of 350 millimeters. I believe that is even or evenly balanced. Frame shape, tear, that's definitely not right. It's not a teardrop racket. It should be traditional. String pattern 14 by 18 and a beam of 18 millimeters. It's the lightest racket in the series of, and is a racket of choice for the world #1 player, Mustafa Sal. Smaller head size, rounder head shape. It seems to be a lot thinner than the previous version, so it will be quite nice. I still have a Suprem Curve. I have the old Suprem, the Suprem MG, the 130 gram version. So it'll be nice to do a comparison once I do have my hands on this Slash. So it'll be quite nice to do a comparison to see how much thicker, how much smaller the head size does seem on camera or in terms of pictures. There is a larger yoke area with inside reinforcements to create ultimate stability. It's a complement to the Tecnifibre Carboflex series. It's got a modernized construction and open yoke technology. So that's something that they're talking about now. I'm not too sure what that's supposed to be. I'm sure there'll be a lot more videos coming out there speaking about what the open yoke technology is for unparalleled control and power, providing players with the best option to enhance their performance on court. For Mustafa, the Slash 120 features control technology, a smaller head size, larger yoke and more streamlined shaft for ultimate control and stability. Then they say the Slash 125 and 130 feature power yoke tech. There's open yoke technology on this one, yoke control technology. Okay, so there's yoke control technology on the 120. On the other ones, it's got a power technology which boasts a larger head size, a smaller yoke, and oversized shaft for supreme power and tolerance, which is quite interesting because it would seem that this would be their take on a hybrid racket, offering a hybrid racket. So the 120, 100% control. You're going to have hybrid versions, which are going to be the 125 to 135 version. And then you're going to have your normal Carboflexes, which are probably one of your best selling rackets of all time. There's a little video here, which we'll talk about in a bit. Last but not least, I think this is just more on their side, which speaks about racket covers. So there seems to be a video, Tecnifibre 23, 24 Slash I've loaded up on this side. The video comes from a channel called Racket World's Racket Ball. There's obviously, I think you can go give that channel some love for showing us this type of video, and let's actually see what they have to say. That is quite cool. I'm not too sure when I've seen Tecnifibre release something like that. I'll leave a link down to the original video in the description so you can watch it for yourself if you didn't get the satisfaction of obviously watching it while I am sharing screen. That seems to be the 120 gram version. In terms of racket technology, they just speak about the open yoke technology or control yoke technology, X-arm technology, and then there are extended string holes. Racket ratings, not much. It will be quite difficult to get racket ratings when it's still available for pre-order. There are no reviews yet. So some people, I'm guessing, have been able to test it out. Some people have not been able to, but once it's available to the broader public, I think we can start talking about it. So definitely expect a review once it does get to South Africa, because I am already waiting for this to be released. So now going on to the 125 version. As my wife says, the egg shape, very similar with respect to the cosmetic look of it. The only difference obviously being that longer main string. We'll talk about head sizes now, and then there you go, you've got yoke power technology. The other one was control yoke technology, also coming with the Tecnifibre 305 green. In terms of the balance, it seems exactly the same. I'm not too sure how accurate that is, because they are also saying the frame shape is a teardrop. Definitely looks more like a teardrop racket, but I'm not too sure if they're going to come out and say it's going to be a hybrid. That's going to be quite interesting. With respect to head size, we've got 485 square centimeters, so quite large. Not exactly as big as the Carboflexes, just smaller than some of your hybrid rackets, being the Evolutions. I think the Revelation racket series from Dunlop are around 490 square centimeters, so Ali Farag as well as Victor Kwa play the 490 square centimeter head, but obviously the teardrop shape. It seems to be definitely there more towards the hybrid. I would like to call it a hybrid, but I'm not too sure. I can't obviously be the one that says it is a hybrid. They say it's 125 grams, it's lightweight, with extra power to play like Mustafa. Interesting though, because Mustafa, yes, can play power, but he uses a control racket. It says it is a power racket, the Slash series, with a bigger, longer head size and shape. It's got an oversized shaft, 390 millimeters squared, for more stiffness and power. The smaller yoke area with localized outgrowth reinforcements creates ultimate power and string elasticity. Okay, so it's also a complement to Carboflex series, blah 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 blah. It's going to talk about the fact that you can get a 125, 130 as well as a 135 version. A lot of preamble about not getting covers, same video. As mentioned, it is very interesting with regard to the head size. I believe you obviously have the same cosmetic with regards to the no grommet at the top, the X-top technology, but in gray, which is obviously a much better color in my opinion. Moving on from that, looking at the 130 gram version, I'm guessing pretty much the same, just in terms of weight, it's going to be a bit different. Same head size, same string pattern, same beam thickness, same balance point apparently. Weight is different obviously with 130 gram version. Not too much on the picture side, so I'm guessing these are probably going to come in a bit cheaper. We'll talk about prices just now. These will come in a bit cheaper compared to the other two. Looks like the 120 and the 125 are coming at the same price tag. Obviously the 125 being a more common size or weight for Tecnifibre, but you're going to get 125 gram version at the same price as the 120 gram version. And as you see, the 130 and the 135, with the increase in weight, I guess you start paying a little bit less. So you can get this for $170. It's going to be interesting what they're going to retail for in South Africa. Your X-tops, at least on places like Squasheteers, as well as, you know, other online retailers, should be around 3,000 Rand. I saw a ridiculous one today. I think I saw the X-Top NS going for 3,750 Rand, which is mind blowing for me. But let's not even talk about that. Normally it should be about 3,000 Rand, somewhere around there. I'm sure these are going to come in a little bit more expensive, either at the same mark as the X-Tops or just a bit higher at 3,300. But I'm still waiting to find out from South Africa side what they're going to retail for. So as I said, 120 and 125, you're going to pay the same price, get a bit cheaper around the 130 and 135 gram version. This does mean that the Suprem 125 curve is going to be a bit cheaper. As you can see, it will be a little bit more expensive than the 135 with the new technology. It'll be a bit cheaper than the 130 gram version with this newer technology. But yeah, you're still paying $190, which obviously equates to some rands and cents or pounds or euros, depending where you're watching from. It would seem, and this is something I have seen on Tecnifibre side, when they do release a new racket, you sort of stop releasing your older version so the new ones can start selling, build up sort of anticipation. They'll push these out definitely first. You can probably find that you'll get these before you can actually get a Suprem 125, unless a store has in stock, but they probably won't be able to order any Suprem 125s until probably 2 or 3 weeks after these start selling, and that's probably optimistic. So it would be ideal that you can probably get these for a cheaper price. So if you're about to buy a 125 curve, probably hold out till the X Top gets released, and you'll probably find that you will be able to benefit from a lower price for the 125 curve if you do like it. Not a bad racket at all. Some people love it, some people hate it. Very interesting in terms of the video, as well as the price ranges, as well as the interesting shapes that are coming out with the Tecnifibre Slash. It's going to be quite a mental exercise to start calling it the Slash instead of the new Suprem, but obviously over time it will become a lot easier. That's about it. Thanks to Squash Galaxy for putting this sort of content and information out there so we could obviously discuss and talk about it before it comes out. Thanks to that YouTube channel for releasing a video. Not too sure where they got their hands on it, but obviously Squash Galaxy was able to reference it on their website, so it must have been allowed to sort of air out on some sort of platform. You're probably going to find videos from PDH Sport and some other stores which are going to get their hands on it firsthand, and once I do, I'll obviously give you my 2 cents on it. It's probably going to be, and I don't want to claim it now, but probably going to be the racket that I'm going to play with for the rest of the next season. Obviously, yes, I will always experiment with rackets. It has been a bit difficult to sort of get my hands on demo versions to sort of do thorough reviews. So in the past, obviously, I would have to buy the racket in order to do a review, but that does become expensive. And I also have my sort of playing commitments that I have to think about before I just sort of chop and chain rackets just for me to use them. If I want to buy a racket per se, I obviously want to use it. So you're probably going to find the first review is going to come from a PDH Sport or Squash Gear review. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see what they have to say before I get their hands. Hopefully it doesn't sway my opinion, but I am starting to play with the Suprem now that our season is over. Pretty much my league is done, so it's sort of just tournaments. I wouldn't say only fun tournaments, but social tournaments that are going to be sort of featured on the channel. In terms of league, in terms of interprovincial tournaments we've done for the year. So it's just sort of training now, off season if you want to call it that. So with that being said, gearing myself and preparing myself to sort of switch to a traditional shape again, but I'm having a lot of fun with the Suprem NG specifically. So my hope and my prayer is that this plays out similar to the Suprem NG. Obviously that comes in 130 grams. This will come in at 120, but I'm hoping and praying, as I said, that the weight distribution seems exactly the same. It's a bit different on the 125 curve. Not a bad racket at all. Can definitely highly recommend that. But the Suprem NG and the Suprem Curve definitely play out a little bit differently. I would hope the Slash is a little bit closer to the Suprem NG with regards to playing, feel, as well as weight of distribution and everything like that. But that's that for now. Hope you guys enjoy. Right now in the background, I have got the British Nationals. Yeah, British Nationals going on in the background. Seems like Mohamed Al-Shabaghi is 2-love up. So by the time you've watched this video, you probably would know what the result is. Joel Macon obviously playing really good squash at the moment, but Al-Shabaghi is obviously a different animal. I'm not doubting the fact that Joel Macon on a good day can defeat Mohamed, but when Mohamed is really playing well, which it seems to be like right now at the moment, he's very hard to beat. But apart from that, hope you guys have a good week ahead and see you next time. Cheers.